Good morning and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today is another one of our special videos because we have a guest, and we are also still in the spirit of celebrating women and their journeys and the work that they have done. Ultimately, just celebrating how far we have come as women, right? So today's guest, I'll just read her profile. Her name is Mulalo, and she is a financial planner. She has a financial advisory practice. I'm sure she will talk a lot more about the services that they provide. She was also listed as top 200 on the Males and Guardians. She's such a powerhouse, and hopefully today we'll learn a lot from her. So Mulalo, I think let's start with talking about being listed as top 200 young influencers of South Africa. What does that really mean for you?
Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of your YouTube channel. It is indeed an honor. And to answer your question with regards to the top 200, I can just say that that is the list. So there's different lists where people get featured in. So yes, that one is every single year, Mail and Guardian makes a call to recognize and reward young people that are doing the best that they can in different fields. So for me, this year, I was also one of the people that were honored under the business and entrepreneurship category. What that means to me is that what I'm doing matters, and the work that I'm putting in is being recognized, and I'm changing the narrative and doing my part in terms of empowering our people. So for me, it's simply an honor.
No, that's really amazing. That's really amazing. And it's such a beautiful thing to see people of color and people who are young, who are actually challenging the status quo, who are doing things which are not conventional. I was just recently reading something on the ETF magazine of Easy Equities, and they mentioned that they have about 36,000, if I'm not mistaken, of investors, right? But they mentioned that only 22 of those are female, right? It's such a huge gap of male versus female investors, which is worrisome, right? From a person who is in the financial field, why should women actually take their finances serious or investment serious?
What I can say is that as women, we are at times seen as people that only have to follow. So we don't take leadership, and we think that some of the things are meant for the other gender, if I may mention it like that.
Yeah.
But we are capable and we are able. I think that's why we make it a point that we remind women that they are capable. We remind them of their strength. We also remind them of opportunities that are available for them to take part in. Sometimes we don't do these things because we are said to be followers and not leaders. And sometimes we do it because we don't have the information or the knowledge of how it's done. So that's why we are taking this information to the people, more especially the young people and the women, so that they can also see that it is not as complicated as they make it to be, and the benefits there are there for everyone.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I also like the point that you mentioned there that, you know, the information is actually the key, right? Some people just don't have information that can actually unlock their ability maybe to go and pursue investment or maybe financial stability, right? So in your company, ImPower Advisory Services, you do offer some products. So I would like you to just maybe speak a little bit about what you do in your corporation, and just maybe give us a little bit of an overview, so that if there's someone who can get assisted and get more information by reaching out to you, they can actually do so and get a place where they can start.
Thank you very much. So at ImPowerX Advisory Services, we assist people in terms of helping them understand their finances. That is in brief. But in detail, that entails offering assistance when it comes to advice and intermediary services. And when we do that, we help clients create a financial future that they deserve. And operating in the financial services industry, when you show up and then you say, I'm a financial planner or a financial advisor, people just think you're going to write them policies and they're going to end up taking a product. So now we have decided to start this company and call it an advisory company, because we want to focus on the advice part of financial services. Because most of the time people get to buy this product without understanding the product itself, or also understanding how that product fits in their financial plan. So the approach that we use is that of educating the client and also empowering them so that when they make the decision, they're making a decision that is good for them. And I think that is one thing that is still confusing to most people that come through to us, because yes, we are an authorized financial services provider, but we don't follow how most companies do these things. You'd find someone coming to say that, oh yeah, I want a retirement annuity, or I want an education plan. And now you have to speak to that person, engage with them, help them understand what they want, and also see if it fits in their need at the specific time and if they can really afford that. And some people just don't understand because they think we are running a tuck shop where they can come and buy this product and leave. Yes, we would love to do that. We would love to offer you that. But the main thing is to help you understand what you are buying and what it means for you. So we focus on financial planning and looking at all the 6 areas of financial planning, assisting you understand your personal finance, your tax planning, your retirement planning, your risk planning, retirement planning, and also the wealth transfer estate planning, where we speak about wills and trust. So we want to offer something that is holistic and look at all the areas and have those different discussions with individuals so that they know how they've provided for each area of their financial plan. Another thing that we are big at is the financial education. So we run financial literacy workshops where we engage with the communities and also share about the basics of financial literacy. So your budgeting, which is core and what most people ignore. But before we get to budgeting, we start with banking, understanding banking, the charges, the fees, what it means to me, and what can I do about it. And then we speak budgeting, we speak about debt and understanding what debt is, and then also speak about saving and investing. And one thing that I find most interesting when we speak about debt is that some people don't even think a time advance is a debt. But now when you when you get to explain it in the most simplest way and how it is so dangerous to build that habit of thinking that debt is good or debt is manageable, and how that habit can transfer to other areas of their lives and other areas of their finances, that's when people get to realize that they're actually digging a hole for themselves without even realizing. So the work that we do is it's purely advising people and ensuring that they make informed financial decisions.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Because I think if anybody has to start, let's say, saving, investing, or any of them, they should at least understand them. And I guess that's where you guys come in. So how do I go about choosing a financial vehicle that is best for me to grow my worth? I mean, now I understand that, okay, saving is important and budgeting is important. Now I want to get to a level where I start building something for myself, but yet there is like a vast amount of options out there that I can choose from. How do I go about selecting one that is best for me?
Indeed, there is a lot of vehicles to choose from. And what I can say is that we start from understanding your financial goals and what you want to achieve at the end of it all. And by saying that, we get to ask you questions in such a way that it makes it easier for us to be able to guide you in terms of which product would be most suited for you. Because all these products have their good and their bad.
Yes.
And then with some, it's not just a matter of saying, let's go for one that has the highest interest, because there might be risk that is attached to that. But if we understand your goals and understand you as an individual, it makes it easier for you to be matched with a product that speaks to you and speaks to what you want to achieve. People have different risk appetite, so your risk profile is very important. For me personally, I know that I'm a very conservative investor, and there's something that I shouldn't allow to get in place or hinder the client in terms of following their own risk profile or their risk appetite. Because if I'm a conservative investor, I'm just going to say, Zwanda, don't put money there. You're going to lose your money.
Yes.
And that will be me making that decision for you. But we want to empower you to make that decision, understanding both the risk and the rewards that are associated with that particular investment that you're looking at.
That's brilliant. When I started investing, actually, I didn't know about risk profile. I just went after it, and obviously you burn your fingers, right? When you go after it blindly, right? And you have to learn the hard way. And I totally agree with you. Understanding your risk profile will narrow down your options, right? From the many options that are out there. If you start understanding your risk profile, then you're most likely to kind of figure out products which are within your risk appetite, like Mulalo mentioned. So Mulalo, my next question is, I believe that everyone has their story, right? When it comes to when they became financial aware and they wanted to take a step where they want to say that, okay, let me budget, let me figure out what interest I can get on this product. They have that moment for themselves, right? What was that moment for you? And at what point did you say that maybe let me make this a career?
For me, when I started with my career, it was in financial services. So I started in banking. And on doing that, it was a new world altogether, because when I was growing up, the bank was the bank. People go to the bank to deposit and withdraw money. And now I started my career in a private wealth space, where I'm learning about the different products that are available and that level of people that are earning so much, and then the kind of products that are designed for them, and the level of service that they get from the bank. So for me, that was another space that opened my eyes for me to see that there is a bigger world than what we just see as the bank branch. But something that didn't click at that moment. And then I got an opportunity to study financial planning. So in that graduate program, I did my financial planning. And then I also got to practice as a financial planner. I did that for a period of 3 years in Richards Bay. And in doing that, something just didn't click as well. And at some point when I was at home, my moment or my story was when my dad asked me, how much do you have on your bank account?
Okay.
That moment was like, okay. It was shocking because parents never speak to their kids about money, and parents never ask how much money you have in your bank account. They never ask how much you plan to have at the end of the year. So for me, when he asked me that, that's when something clicked, and I realized that planning is very important. Yes, I had money, but it was not money that I had a plan for or I planned for. It was just me living each day, knowing that I've got money at the end of the month, they're going to pay me. And I just took each day as it goes. If I want something, I buy it. If I want to go spend a weekend in Durban, I will just go there. If I want to go visit a friend in Cape Town, I will just book a flight and then go there. But I didn't have a plan for my money. And when my dad asked me, how much money do you have in your bank account? I had to account. And then he told me, okay, at the end of the year, you must have your targets. And then at the end of the year, you need to show me your accounts. I need to see how much you've saved up. I'm not saying that you should change your lifestyle drastically, but at least have a plan and a target. So with that, that was my story. And that's when I realized that it's important for one to plan their finances. And looking back at the few years that I had been working before I got to be asked that question, I realized that had I been asked that question earlier on, I would have made better financial decision and would have been far in life. So with that, I decided, let's get people to understand or be asked that question earlier in life so that they can be conscious when it comes to their financial decisions, and also understand that every decision that they make is a financial decision. So in short, that is my story.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, actually, a lot of us are not as fortunate actually to have to be asked that question. And like you mentioned, even for you, you kind of felt like it was a little bit late to be asked that question because you would have maybe benefited. But I'm pretty sure that from the time which you were asked that question, year to date, you have drastically improved. And so my next question, I just want to know, as we continue on the planning side, right? So I think a lot of us are not necessarily involved when it comes to our retirement. And it's part of planning, right? It's planning for your life after you have retired. This is simply because most of us kind of have it with our employer. Some have retirement annuity, some have provident fund, some have pension. So we just think that it's there, right? So what is the importance of understanding that planning of your retirement, of understanding the structure of the retirement plan?
When it comes to retirement, it's things that are to happen in the future.
Yes.
So what we need to plan around, it's a matter of understanding the projections and what that money would be worth at the time when we retire. And most people don't do that planning because they just think if my employer is taking money from my savings and investing it for my retirement, I would have enough money for retirement. And some of us, you start working at 20 and then you're going to retire at 60. So that's 40 years of working. Yes. But in that 40 years, they're only taking, let's say 7.5 from your side, 7.5 from the employer, and that's 15% of your salary that's going towards retirement. And if you do that, do you think that 15% of what you have now would be sufficient for you at retirement? You can look at the number of years that you plan to live after retirement and then say, okay, this is a shorter or a longer period of time. But would the money that you would have at that point when you say you're retiring be sufficient to take you through the other years that you are yet to live? And most young people just say that we're not even going to make it to retirement, so there's no need for us to plan. Yes. And to our surprise, our parents are close to their retirement and they're still full of life, they're still fit, and they still need money to continue with their day-to-day. So what I can say is, let's look at people that are at 60 years today. And let's ask ourselves if they do not need the money. And if they at some point didn't think they won't make it to 60. And we will see that retirement is very important and we need to plan around it. If what you have with the employer is something that you do not understand, you need to do the projections or let someone help you with the projections to say, okay, I'm now, I'm only left with this amount of years. This is how much they're contributing. At the end of it all, when I retire, this is how much this is going to be. And the income that I'm going to get is this much. Will this be sufficient at the point when I am at retirement? And then you can start planning around that. It's not to say take out a product, it's to say, will it be sufficient? Will the life or the kind of lifestyle that you want to live be supported by what you are planning towards now? So you don't need a retirement product. You don't need an RA, but you need money at retirement.
Yes.
So, it doesn't matter where you're putting in that money, but
you need it.
Have a plan.
Yes. Yeah. I think my wake-up call when it comes to retirement and retirement structure was when I read that only 6% of South Africans can retire with at least 75% of the lifestyle that they live when they're working. I was so shocked. I'm like, I want to be part of the 6%. So that's when I kind of got in my wake-up call to understand what am I contributing, and is it enough? Is it not? What do I need? That those kind of questions that to come once you realize that there's a possibility that you might need to drastically downgrade. And that comes with, some stress of its own. Okay, so I think when it comes to like financial question, that will be it from my side. But I wanted to ask one career question. In as much as like there's a huge gap between, male and female investors, I've kind of seen the progress, especially when it comes to women who are getting involved in the financial industry, like women who are becoming financial advisors, or just bankers, CAs and the likes, right? If someone is interested in getting into that world, what are some of the opportunities in terms of work availability and what they can study? What are some of those opportunities that are available, and what does one need to study for them to be able to get into that space?
What I can say on that question is that one would need to understand what they plan to do later on before they decide on what they want to study. And even if you study something different, you can still venture into anything that you want to do. So it's an open playground. You can decide which sport you want to play. And some of the things that we had to overcome, the plane has already been made flat. So it's just a matter of being clear of what you want. And if it's something that you don't understand at this point, you are more than welcome to reach out to different people that are doing what you want to do, so that you understand in detail what their work entails, and then decide whether you still want to go there or not. And when we speak about those things, you can't just say, go and study this and this and this, because you'll be surprised that even in some of the scarce skills or the qualifications that people study that we think you would have a job available, there are still people that are unemployed with those qualifications. So it's a matter of saying, this is what I want, and let me plan a path that will help me get there. And one thing that I find so funny is that sometimes, even as children, we don't even know what our parents do. They wake up every day.
Yes, that's true.
We don't even care to ask them when you say you work at the municipality, what do you do?
What are you actually doing?
I had that conversation with my dad, and I was just like, I had no idea. And even some of our siblings, we've got brothers, sisters, or their friends that are already in the workplace. You don't need to be Googling CEOs of different companies to find out what the work entails. You've got a brother, you've got a sister, they've got their friends, you've got parents, their parents. You can just ask them, what do you do? What does your job entail? And how do they give that title to you, and what does it mean, so that you understand if that is the path that you want to follow. Because most people would say, I want to be a this and that, and then you ask them, what does that person do? They're like, no, it just has to do with chemicals. And you're like, yes, that is totally different. But if we keep the line of communication open, that will be, if I find out that this is what interests you, this is what you want to do, I might know someone who can just do a phone call, give you brief of what the job entails, and then you decide on what you plan to do. So there's many opportunities available. It's just a matter of identifying which one you want and going for it.
And also I really, really like what you mentioned, because we do have examples around us, right? We do have people who are in engineering, who are in different fields, but yet I think when it comes to us choosing a career choice, we look from the internet, and the explanation from the internet has proven to so many fields that, you know, it's very narrow. And it might mislead you. So it's better if, like you mentioned,
Yes.
find someone who's actually doing that.
I was about to say that it's quite shocking, because what's on paper and what reality is, it's totally different things. Because sometimes someone would say, this kind of engineer does this and this and this. And you can say, yes, I did that in my studies, but when I finished, this is where I saw where the need is and decided by offering all my services in. And even with me, people would just say, a certified financial planner, okay, come and work with us. This is what you do. You're very good at estate planning. And this is what you need to be doing on a day-to-day basis, doing estate plan for people. And for me, I'm like, okay, I've seen the need. I've seen where our people need assistance with. I want to focus on educating our people, and financial education or financial literacy is something that is close to my heart. And when I focus on that, some people will just say, but your title says this. Yes, it says that, but where is the need?
Yes,
So
true.
you can study one thing thinking that you're going to do that, but at any point in your career, you're free to decide what you want to do. No one's going to stop you. No one's going to say anything. If you are a doctor, medical, and then you decide, okay, my passion is on helping just children, you can focus on that. And if you're tired of doing that, and then you want to go into farming and then expand into being a vet, you've got the medical background already, you're just focusing on a different target, you are free to do whatever you want to do.
That's really amazing. And also we grow and evolve, right? And hence maybe even our career choice would change. And most importantly, most of the time, the things that we do are normally the things which we want to enjoy. So as you evolving, as your passion is growing towards something, you might want to lean towards those things. I like what you said when you said you can do whatever you want to do. And there's nothing more amazing than having to like what you do, and that's an impact on the results of the work that you do, right? So one last question that I want to ask you is that any advice that you can give to your young self, to your maybe 15-year-old Mulalo, like what can you say to a 15-year Mulalo? It doesn't have to be financial. Even if it can be financial, it's okay. But what can you tell the young Mulalo?
Yeah, I was trying to picture her at 15. And I think with her at such an early, tender age, the focus was just on school. And it wasn't an effort to be the best in what she was focusing on at that point. And what I can say to her is that, say, don't stretch yourself too much. Find comfort and find joy in everything that you do. And if you are excelling in one thing, celebrate. And as time goes, when you make these choices, pick anything that you want, anything that your heart desires, go for it. And don't be afraid. I think that's what I can tell her. Don't be afraid. If you want to jump, jump.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. It's amazing. It's amazing. I think a lot of people who are at that age actually would wish to be told that, because those words are actually as encouraging to me even when I'm this old. Because yes, like sometimes we focus too much on the future and we forget to embrace the successes that we're seeing. We stretch ourselves beyond our capacity, and that doesn't bring us any joy. So thank you so much, Mulalo, for joining me on this conversation. So thank you so much. Any last words from your side?
What I can say is anything you want to do, go for it. If you dream of something, do it. And there's no better time to do something than the present.
Yes.
Thank you.